Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Because You Don't Know What's Going to Happen Next, it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. And first, I want to thank so many of my listeners for emailing me to ask how my mother is doing. I discussed her well-being in a previous podcast. And for those of you who don't know, she was very ill a few weeks ago. She had a pulmonary embolism and she was in the ICU. And today I'm happy to say that she's recovering at home. And for her, before she had the blood clot, she was walking on her own. She was doing everything independently. And after she got the blood clot, she wasn't able to walk. She had to go to rehab. And she said to me, "Allison, I feel very loose-ended." And what she meant by this is, I feel so undone. My life is not what it was last week. I'm not fully independent anymore. I have trouble walking. I have trouble showering by myself. I feel weak. I feel tired. I feel like that life I had is gone and I'm not going to get better. And what was so strange about this moment is that I really understood my mom. Not because I had a health situation like her, but because I know what it's like when the bottom falls out. I know what it's like when the life you had changes in such an unexpected way and nothing's the same. And this happened to me when my husband left me. My whole life was focused on my family and this relationship. And sure, I had other things going on in my life, but this was my base. This was my core. And when he told me he was leaving me, I guess I could say I felt loose-ended. I couldn't imagine how I would live, how I would function, how I would get through one day, because everything I based my life on was gone in a moment. I didn't know how I was going to afford my life. I wasn't going to have a spouse, my best friend, my partner, who was going to help me raise my children. And I said that to my mom. I said, I understand what this feels like. But I also am standing here to tell you that you don't have a reference for it. How could you? And of course it's challenging. But you have to know that with every breath, that means there's hope and there's maybe. And no matter what you're facing, even if it's not familiar, it doesn't mean that things are not going to be okay. See, that's what my mom was doing. She was equating the suffering and this thing she didn't understand because she wasn't familiar with it. She didn't know how to be with it. That means it could never change. And I get it, because when my husband first left, I didn't know how my life was ever going to be okay again. I just happened to have the practice of maybe. I just knew that as much pain as I was in that day, those weeks, those months, that because I didn't know the future, my life had maybe, that maybe things could get better, maybe new things would happen, maybe my heart would heal. And my mom looked at me and she said, I know I was by your side, Allison, when this happened to you, but as you're talking, I can't believe that you made it through, that you're so successful now and you're okay and you're happy. And I looked at her and I said, Mom, the same is available to you. Healing is available. Joy is available. You just can't see it all now. And that's why the idea of maybe is so precious, because it doesn't ask you to see anything. It just lets you see in this overwhelming moment where life has changed, when something happens that's really challenging, to know that in the unknown is infinite possibilities, that because you don't know what's going to happen next, it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It could be good. It could be healing. It could be nurturing. It could be filled with things you can't imagine. And when you know that, your mind calms down and your suffering settles. And what happens? You come back to the moment. And in the moment, you face what you're facing. But in the moment, you could also feel your breath. You could experience joy. And I watched my mother calm down. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have bad moments. And I'm not saying that she's not still scared. This is very new for her. But she knows that life has maybe. And I was also so lucky because I just came out with my maybe cards. It's a beautiful deck of all these beautiful maybe statements that you could use when you feel afraid that life's not going your way. And I was able to give her the deck and hang up some of the cards in her room. And it really resonated with her that maybe she could still be okay, and maybe she would heal in the days to come, and maybe she shouldn't assume the worst. Now, that might sound very simple to you, but when you think about you being in such deep fear that your life can't get better, you lost your job, someone left you, you're having a health scare, and you're so sure you can't get better, you're so sure life can't change. But then you question the absolute nature of your fear, your stress, and your worry. And you realize I can't be absolutely sure of anything, which means you cannot be absolutely sure that life's not going to change, and you can't be absolutely sure that things can't get better. And that's why maybe is so beautiful, because then you do maybe statements. Maybe my life can get better. Maybe everything is still okay. Maybe my thoughts are not true. Maybe I'll find solutions in the days to come. Maybe I could accept what's happening and still be okay. You give yourself the potential of something other than fear and stress and worry. And once you do that, the hope comes in your heart. And once you do that, you become more present. And once you do that, you remember who you are and you start to make other plans. So as my mother calmed down, we were able to talk about the kind of care she needed. We were even able to order some sushi and have a great dinner. And she watched a great show and she snuggled in her bed, which she missed so much. And I'm not saying that in the days following our conversation, it didn't keep coming up, but she keeps remembering maybe. Maybe I can handle this. Maybe I can get through this. Maybe my walking will improve. Maybe I'll be able to take a shower on my own. Maybe this therapy is going to work. Maybe there's a way for me to do this. Always remember, no matter what you're going through, when you feel the bottom has fallen out, all that's fallen out is what you're familiar with. All that's fallen away is the life you had. It doesn't mean there's not a new life waiting for you. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to heal. It doesn't mean anything about the future. It does mean something about the past, and it means something in the moment when you're feeling all that pain. But always remember the maybe. And I do have to add another maybe statement. Maybe there's something left for me to experience in this lifetime. Because sometimes when the bottom falls out, you like your old life better, even though you've created new things, even though there are new beginnings. And that's okay. It's really more about, if we're still here, what's left. Because there's always joy, there's always new experiences, whatever they may be. And so you could honor the past, honor what you had, but still look towards the unlimited possibilities of the future, still look for the potential. And I also get this. There are things about my life before my husband left that I miss. And maybe I'll always miss them. But I put it in its rightful place and I realize here I am and what is left. And the same goes for my mom. There is a chance that her healing won't go exactly as planned, but it doesn't mean that she won't walk again, and it doesn't mean she won't have good times, and it doesn't mean she won't have enjoyment. Maybe allows us to look for what's left, maybe allows us to achieve what's possible, and to live life to the fullest, whatever life that may be. And I know uncertainty is my best friend. I know uncertainty is my mom's best friend, and I know uncertainty's your best friend. You have what it takes to change your life. You have what it takes to have a new beginning. No matter what has happened in your life, your future has not been written yet. And when you partner with the future and you hold on to the maybe, your life starts to change. Your heart opens up. And you remember that maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe, A Year Without Men, Maybe Everything's Okay, A Parent's Guide to Less Stress and Worry, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. If you'd like to buy my Maybe cards, they are back on Amazon, or you can buy them on Etsy and my Stan Store with my digital journal. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.